Here's the new beginnings. Here's the new beginnings. The pull-up so independent.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Sloan Blueprint. I am your co-host, Nicole Sloan.
And I'm Eric Sloan.
And we're glad that y'all decided to join us once again for another episode of fun, of laughs, and some good knowledge and wisdom that we plan to spit some of our guests. And we got another phenomenal guest, by the way.
Definitely have a phenomenal guest and have a ton of information as we continue to talk about generational wealth. So of course, last episode was about insurance, and this time we're going to go back into the investing from the aspect of, I say, cryptocurrency.
We know y'all want to know about crypto. That's all I hear a lot of people
Exactly.
that are curious about what crypto is because they just don't really know, don't have a clue. And I admit I was one of those.
Well, and the phenomenal guest that we have with us today is none other than Mr. Brandon Lee.
My brother, the Brandon Lee. We're gonna give him a hand now.
Family? What up, family? How y'all doing?
How you doing on this beautiful fine day?
Tired. I got kids. I'm sleepy.
That's the life of being a parent. Glad we did it when we were young. But look, my brother, y'all, is it's of course, like I said, he's my brother, he's family, but he's also the financial mastermind in our family, which, well, he's a jack of all trades. He knows some of everything. He's political. He and my dad always get in political debates. He's smart in politics and everything. I don't know if there's anything you know, because y'all talk a lot like women, so you know. They stay on the phone.
Really?
You call it what you want. We're strategizing.
That's right. That's fine with me. Strategizing and how to get us to where the money resides. So
where the money resides.
Okay.
Where the money.
But Brandon has been an investor and a researcher in the crypto space for about 5 years. And he participates in groups where he actually educates people that are new to the space as such. I know they talk a lot, but I'm newer to the space. And he talks about the basics of crypto and how to get started in investing, because there's a lot of people that just don't really know and understand what crypto is, how to get involved, and what steps to take in order to get involved, right?
Correct.
So as I said, this financial mastermind is going to school us a little bit today. Right, Brandon?
That's a little merch, but I'm gonna do my best. Tell the people something.
Yeah, and go on and drop it on the people.
Well, exactly. More than anything, I think with crypto being so new, you have a lot of people that are intimidated as far as getting into that particular space. And so I guess in layman's term, what exactly is cryptocurrency from your point of view?
So I view crypto as really just computer software that runs, right? And the software is really designed to improve existing products and services, as well as even the entire economic systems that we're used to today, right? I know a lot of people, when they think of crypto, they're thinking about specific coins or tokens, but that's really only a piece of it, right? Because kind of behind the coins and tokens, this software is really changing the way a lot of the things that we interact with on a day-to-day basis. For example, like in crypto, there are specific assets or protocols that are, changing the way our banking services work. They're looking at attacking things like, how do we have more fair and open elections, right? They're looking at how do we make sure artists are properly compensated for their work, whether that be kind of painters or even music artists. So there's just a lot of different use cases. You'll hear about a lot of different coins, but important to know and kind of do some research and understand kind of what are the real use cases, what are these cryptos going after, and kind of why are these tokens that kind of we hear about, why are they important and are they really worth investing in?
So now as we talk about cryptocurrency, and then we're on the mission right now of building generational wealth, is there a particular method that you would recommend as far as getting involved in cryptocurrency for the novice, or for those that may not know as much or be timid getting involved into cryptocurrency?
Yeah, I would say it's much like any other thing that you're going to invest in, right? You really need to educate yourself, number one, that you can definitely get hurt investing in cryptos or anything else, right? There are a lot of scams out there, a lot of people trying to take advantage. Crypto is somewhat of a kind of newer asset class. So where there's kind of money and kind of things that are not necessarily completely under the regulatory framework, there's going to be kind of scammers coming in to take advantage of newbies. So I say number one is kind of educate yourself and really understand kind of what you're doing, what you're investing in, and make sure you're putting the right safeguards in place. I'd say there's a lot of different kind of reputable places you can go to get information. I'd say one is Coinbase. That's the biggest crypto exchange in the US. They have something called Coinbase Learn that will kind of walk you through kind of the very basics of crypto and some of the bigger kind of what I call software programs that are out there, or the protocols that are out there.
Saying one of the things that just to go a little bit further, when when they says exchange, that is where you can go and purchase the many cryptocurrencies that are out there. So of course, the main ones that are out there right now are Bitcoin, Ethereum, and so many other ones that are out there. So you can go there to Coinbase, log in, get a username, password, and authenticate, provide them the information that they need to make sure that they fully authenticate you so that you can purchase some of those assets to help in building generational wealth.
And which brought me to my next point, which was going to be a lot of people, you were talking about being educated about crypto and the different types. And Bitcoin was, if I'm not mistaken, the first cryptocurrency. Brandon, is that right?
Yep.
So and most of us have heard of Bitcoin, because me personally, I get all these requests, friend requests on Facebook and Instagram, from Bitcoin investors, which, may be mostly
Ignore
spam. What'd you say?
Ignore them all.
And that's what we really want you to tell people, because we don't understand and we see it. And of course, that's the first thing that I do, delete. But there may be some people that really don't get it and don't know that, this is not the route to go in order to begin or start as an investor. So would you maybe educate them even on that, or the different types of cryptocurrency?
Yeah, so there are thousands of cryptos out there, right? You just mentioned Bitcoin, right? And Bitcoin is the biggest and probably the safest investment right now in all of crypto, because it is a highly volatile market. And I say volatile, that means the prices, right? They go up and down quite wildly in kind of US dollar terms. So just kind of taking a step back, when you think of something like a Bitcoin, it was designed, or it came around the 2008, 2009 timeframe. And the people that kind of invented Bitcoin, they were really against kind of the existing economic system, right? So they were folks that said, hey, it's not fair, kind of the way that things are happening today. We want to create a more transparent system, something that cuts out the rent seekers in the middle, who are kind of extracting value from the common person. So that was kind of the launch of Bitcoin, right? A peer-to-peer kind of payment system that was open, meaning that anyone with the internet access, a mobile phone, could use it, right? It's transparent. The rules are right out there. Everyone can kind of see what's happening in that particular currency. It's decentralized, meaning that there's kind of many different versions of Bitcoin that are running, or copies of Bitcoin that are running, that make it kind of very hard to attack it or take it down. And it back to the rent seeker component, right? It's really cutting out the middleman. It's very efficient in the way that you can transact with the protocol. So as you're looking at kind of investing in the crypto space, you really want to understand kind of at a deeper level, kind of what is Bitcoin? Why is it valuable? Why would it ever be used, right? And kind of what is the market that it's actually going after, right? A lot of people invest in things just because they've seen a advertisement on TikTok, or the barber told them to buy something. That's usually when I'm trying to sell stuff. When I start hearing people talking about tokens at the barbershop, guess who's going back to Coinbase to sell stuff? That's me. I know it's gotten way too overheated. But really anything, if it's crypto, stocks, real estate, similar process, right? You really have to do your due diligence, make sure you understand kind of what it is, why it's important, how it accrues value, and some of the other things, make sure that you understand the team that's behind it. There's competent kind of leadership, there's good developers behind it, just normal, good, solid research, and understanding what you're investing in. Otherwise, you're going to be passing down generational deficits versus generational wealth, because you're going to lose some money in this space.
Right.
Yeah, we definitely don't want to leave any deficits.
If at all possible. And
Exactly.
also, and as you were talking about that, it made me think, because when you're doing your research, and I mentioned that you are a part of different groups to discuss and to learn more about investing, as far as people knowing who to talk to. Are there crypto advisors, or if that's the right terminology? I told you I'm, as Eric said, a novice myself. So help people understand that. Who should they go to? Or what resources would you recommend otherwise?
So there are, I mentioned Coinbase Learn, right? That's good kind of educational content on kind of what is crypto. If you're looking at specific projects and trying to make a determination on whether it's a good kind of crypto asset, a good crypto project, there's a firm out called Delphi Digital, right? And they have a daily newsletter that you could subscribe to for free. And they publish a lot of good kind of deep research around different assets. From an advisory perspective, there's also Stansberry Research. I think they're fairly reputable. They have a service called Crypto Capital that you can kind of get involved with, and they provide deep research. They'll even kind of, the guy there, he'll tell you kind of what price you should pay for certain assets, and kind of he'll send sell alerts when he thinks that the price has gone too far and it's time to take some money off the table. So there are some reputable folks out there, but on the other side of that, some folks are just providing advice so they can kind of pump their own bags, right? They buy assets, tell you to buy it, you raise the price up, and then they sell on you. So you've got to really be careful out there as you're looking for advisors and people who are make sure that they have your best intention in mind and not their own.
That's good advice.
And I'm pretty sure you see that quite a bit, especially on Twitter, and then some others where you see people immediately, you need to go and buy this. And the time that we are right now, I think Elon Musk is working to buy Twitter. So probably by the time this airs, he's probably already purchased Twitter. So we will see as far as for information being put out there, because I know he was one of the main components of, is it Dogecoin? That he would push Dogecoin, and then everybody start going and buying, and then then those prices would shoot up. So then it could be a situation where he had the prices to go up, then he sells, utilize that cash to purchase some other assets or some other things to better utilize the funds.
And that's good that you said that, because some people aren't too clear on how crypto works as far as what they can do. They don't realize that you can use it to buy regular goods and services, right, Brandon? Is that?
Yeah. That is definitely a use case that's coming online, right? I'd say it's not growing as fast as some would have anticipated, because there are also some regulatory hurdles in front of us, right? So, kind of in traditional banking, traditional payments, the government wants to have the right level of oversight into what's happening, let's say. So crypto is a new kind of asset class. We recently saw the President Joe Biden go off and make an executive order for different regulatory agencies to start looking at crypto to figure out how to bring that into the regulatory framework in a sensible way. So I think that's somewhat slowing down adoption kind of in our day-to-day kind of payment services. But I think that's also a good opportunity for those to kind of get in front of what I view is probably going to be inevitable, right? I think crypto is here to stay. I think it's going to grow from less than a $2 trillion asset class to potentially hundreds of trillions of dollars. So we talk about generational wealth, getting in early, doing your due diligence, learning about this in the early stages, I think is extremely important, especially for our community.
And when you say getting in early, not necessarily early as in age, but getting early. And because I was going to ask too, I guess I could say as far as in age, when are you too old or too young to invest? When do you recommend that someone invest?
I put it the same way as any kind of asset class, right? I think that you have to be mindful of kind of where you are in your life, right? I say if you're nearing retirement, don't go off and kind of stick all your money in crypto. Just back to the volatility thing, right? You could lose 50% in a day, or it could drop 50% in a day, right? You probably don't want to see your life savings do that, right? Where if you're younger, you probably have more time to take more risk, right? Or you have time to wait until the asset class matures and you recover your kind of investment. So it really depends on kind of who you are, kind of your risk tolerance, your age, your financial goals. I'd say me personally, I'm middle-aged, right? So I've got a good stake in crypto, right? I think I'd say just personal, right? It's definitely been the highest performing asset I've ever invested in. I'm invested in stocks, bonds, real estate, you name it, right? But crypto has definitely outperformed in the time I've been in it. And that trajectory I see kind of in conversations I'm in is kind of continuing to go in the right direction. But you have to have the right mindset investing in crypto, because the volatility is there, right? We know Bitcoin was recently at $67,000. Today it's under 40, right? So you have to know that volatility will be there, but you also have to know that if you invest in the right cryptos, in the right projects, and kind of keep an eye on things and make sure they're progressing, your thesis on the investment doesn't change, that over time, over the long haul, this is an asset class that will grow, and there are significant gains to be had ahead.
Yeah, it's funny you say that Bitcoin was at 60,000, now it's at 40,000. But I hate to say it, one time it was about 3,000 and 1,000. So
about the time I told you to buy it.
Yeah, I was about to say, look, took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah.
Midnight calls for nothing.
I don't appreciate y'all calling me out on that right now, but that's okay. But
I bet he learned from that one.
But no, you're good. But my question to that is, people see right now Bitcoin is at 40,000, and I guess they shy away from getting into cryptocurrency. Like, it's $40,000, but not understanding that's just a fraction. So if you do get in, if you have $1 and you want to buy Bitcoin, okay, well, you can buy it for that $1 for that particular percentage. But as if Bitcoin goes up to $60 or 60,000, again, well, that $1 is going to increase by that particular percentage. So it's not that you have to have $40,000 to buy into it. It's just whatever you have to invest, then you figure out, I guess, the strategy that you need. So I know, Brandon, you mentioned quite often as it relates to dollar cost averaging. Can you explain what dollar cost averaging is, just for those that may want to invest, so they can understand ways to put money aside to even get into investing for their future and for generational wealth?
Yeah, so dollar cost averaging is really just setting a schedule for when you buy an asset, right? And maintaining that schedule no matter kind of what the price of a particular asset is, right? So an example would be if you get paid every 2 weeks, right, from your job, right? You would set a portion of money aside, let's call it $20, right, each pay period. And you just constantly invest that $20 each time you get paid over the period of time, right? That is kind of the inverse of what people would call trying to spot tops and bottoms in markets, right? Where they say, hey, I'm going to buy it when it's cheap, or I'm going to buy it when the price starts moving up. If you're not going to be a trader, right, which you've got to have a very specific skill set to do that. The best way to invest in any asset, cryptocurrency, otherwise, is just make periodic buys across time and not try to look at price too much. And just one comment back to Bitcoin, right? You said it's about $40,000 right now. One thing for people to note is that one Bitcoin is actually divisible into 100 million different units. They're called Satoshis. So that's how you can buy kind of fractional components of a Bitcoin. So price is probably the last thing that you should look at when making an investment decision, right? Because it's immaterial, right? You want to look for quality assets, right? Because if you go off and buy a ABC coin for 0.0001, right, thinking it's cheap, it can go down 99 to 100%, right, from there, right? So just because the price is low doesn't mean that the asset really has value and is going to go up over time. Like Bitcoin is the kind of least risky crypto that you can buy. People see $40,000, it could be $400,000, it could be 4 million, right, over time. So don't let the price tag of the asset in its current form fool you or discourage you from investing in that particular asset.
Now, is there a good method for, if I'm going out and doing research, trying to figure out what coin I want to get, is there a recommended method to see how many, the market cap and things of that nature, to see exactly what I should be investing in versus what I should not be investing in?
I'd say first thing I look for is use case, right? So what is this crypto doing? Like, and who is it servicing, right? And there's something called fully diluted market cap, right? Or fully diluted value. So that's basically looking at kind of the total number of tokens that will ever exist times the current price of the token, right? So that gives you kind of what the market has valued this asset as a point in time, right? So if you look at something, I'll give an example. Some people talk about Shiba Inu, right? Not one of my favorite things. I think it's growing. It's doing better than when it first launched, but the total token supply of Shiba Inu is a quadrillion tokens, right? And I see people on my news feeds on social media saying if SHIB just goes to $1, right? In order for SHIB to go to $1, that means it has to be the network is worth a quadrillion dollars. There isn't a quadrillion dollars in circulation, right? So that's not going to happen. So just understanding, like you said, some of these metrics and kind of ways of measuring the tokens is very important to not wreck yourself and have unrealistic expectations of how an asset will perform.
Check yourself before you wreck
Yeah, I was just
yourself.
about to say that. You better have the song going to old school.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. In other words, all of this definitely is risky.
There's no escaping your
Gotta know
homework,
how to
right?
manage your
I
risk.
say so. Exactly. There's no escaping that. If you want to be truly successful in this, or at least getting around someone who knows what's going on, someone you can really trust, and getting the right, like you mentioned earlier, Nicole, right? Advisory. And I say, as an early investor, if you're just starting off, learn about the big protocols, learn Bitcoin, learn Ethereum to start. Like if you don't understand those two and you don't have investments in those, my personal opinion, you shouldn't be investing in anything else, right? Those are the two big ones, right? I think Bitcoin probably is about 40% of all the money in crypto right now. Ethereum is probably about 20%, rough numbers, I hadn't looked. But 60% of all of crypto is between Bitcoin and Ethereum. And there's probably, you can look right behind those at things like Solana, Avalanche, Terra. Those are kind of serious contenders who have use cases and probably should be the next tranche of kind of crypto assets that you start to explore. And the further you go away from that, the risk level goes much higher. Right? There's potential, right? When the crypto market goes up, there's going to be a lot of coins that don't have real utility or use case that go up, but the risk of that is much higher than some of the things that I mentioned, some of the larger crypto assets that have good teams and kind of good use cases behind them.
And you made me think of something. Now, would you say there's a particular resource online or any type of book or resource that we can pick up to read or search as far as learning the different types of cryptocurrencies? Is there anything particular that just hit me when you were talking? Just to learn more about
I just go
a good resource.
kind of stick to those very basic resources like Coinbase Learn. Use that for education. Subscribe to Delphi.
Okay.
Yeah, it is. So Coinbase.com, and then you can navigate to the Learn section. Same with Delphi Digital. I think it's just delphidigital.com. And they've got a way to subscribe to their daily newsletter. It's a lot of just educational content, deep dives into different crypto assets.
And for people that don't know, Brandon, Delphi, would you spell that out? Some people just don't understand, or maybe not be able to.
DELPHI, Delphi Digital.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah. That's good.
For those that are looking to dive into cryptocurrency and they want to save money, is there a way through cryptocurrency to save or to be able to gain interest on whatever funds that they have that's out there?
Yeah, absolutely. So there are kind of crypto banks, you could kind of think of them as, where you can deposit like Bitcoin or Ethereum and earn interest, right? Some of the ones that are more popular are things like crypto.com. There's Celsius that's out there. There's BlockFi. And then there's Nexo. I think those are probably the big four where you can actually deposit crypto assets and get a payout in interest on having those assets deposited. And there's been some recent developments where some of those are kind of discontinuing paying interest to non-accredited investors. So you'll have to kind of look out for that. The SEC is not kind of crypto's best friend right now. So they're having folks go back and kind of re-review certain things before they're able to open up interest-bearing accounts for some customers. But those are four to definitely look at and see if you're eligible to kind of use and earn interest on your crypto assets while you wait for the capital appreciation or the price of your token to go up.
Well, and I'm glad you said that, because you may have a conversation with someone and they're like, I want to be able to have the physical asset where I can go to the bank and pull it out or put it in a savings account. And right now, savings account is paying point maybe 0.001. So you have all this money in your savings account that's just sitting there, and they're going to pay you a fraction of a penny for whatever it is. So if you got 10,000 in there in 1 month, they're going to give you a penny for what you have in there. So it's not benefiting you any to actually put it in a savings account. But if you do have some crypto and that they're giving you, which some may give you 10%, some may give you 20%. But I'd rather get a larger percentage of, I guess, my investment versus sitting it in the bank to get nothing, where the bank can actually get it. So now you're getting into what we were talking about in the last episode, almost becoming your own bank. So another way of building generational wealth.
Right.
Yeah, just to pull the string on that one a little bit. So a way, and you're getting into a good life hack, one I use, right? So you can basically take your US dollars out of a bank. You can convert those US dollars into something like USD coin, right? That's kind of been stood up by Circle, fully regulated, and deposit kind of the equivalent, like a digital dollar, into one of these services like Nexo or BlockFi, Celsius. And once you make that deposit, you can earn interest back on that USD coin between 8-10% on one of these centralized kind of platforms. If you wanted to step out, like I mentioned, there's a risk curve here. So if you want to step out and use like a decentralized finance platform like Anchor protocol that runs on the Terra network, you can convert your US dollar into something called US Terra, right? Something that's pegged to the US dollar, and earn close to 20% on that dollar, right? So a big difference between what you're going to earn kind of in a traditional bank versus kind of what you can take advantage of in this newer asset class called crypto.
Well, and talking about that, similar to stocks, of course, you were talking about the volatility of crypto. You have volatility in the stock market because you also hear a lot of people, oh, I don't deal with that, I'm in the stock market. Well, to me, there's still a correlation because your stocks can go up, your stocks can go down. So it's almost like whenever you want to buy, as far as getting into crypto and when to buy, as always, you certainly want to buy low and sell high. But when you're doing that, understand sometimes the tax implications associated with it, because those can have a drastic impact as far as what you're trying to build as far as generational wealth that you can flow down to your children and your children's children. So are there any methods or that you would recommend as it relates to that? Or any ideas? I'm not going to say recommend. So any ideas that you would give pertaining to that?
To like the tax planning?
I hate to say tax planning because then you're getting into some other strategies, but do you have any strategies as it relates to tax planning, as it relates to cryptocurrency, or do you recommend getting a CPA?
Yeah, definitely a CPA. I have a CPA. I claim to know about crypto, but I still have a CPA, right?
Just being wise.
Absolutely. But yeah, there are, right? And again, similar to other asset classes, there are things you can do to provide some shelter from taxes, right? I.e., there are opportunities where, like, if you have Bitcoin, right, and you don't want to sell your Bitcoin, you can actually use one of those services I mentioned, like Celsius. Basically post your Bitcoin as collateral and take a loan as low as like 1% interest, right? So then you didn't have to sell your Bitcoin, right? So you don't have to pay taxes on any capital gains, and you don't lose your Bitcoin, right, when you sell it, right? You just have it as collateral, and as long as you're paying the loan back, or you pay the loan back, or pay your interest payments, your Bitcoin is safe, right? And you still kind of own that allotment of Bitcoin. So there are some strategies like that, just like traditional kind of stocks, where I think a lot of people don't know these avenues exist, right? To take loans instead of selling things to avoid some of the tax penalties that may be associated.
And that is key as it relates to, we always say, what's the adage, knowledge is power, but not just knowledge is power, being able to apply the knowledge that you have.
Right.
And once you apply that knowledge, then that becomes power.
Right. Absolutely.
Well, I know for me, and I think for our audience, received a lot of good information. I know I'm always reaching out to them as far as any information I have, not only on crypto, but then also on some other strategies as well. And I guess,
don't worry, he'll listen this time. He has talk after his last blunder.
really?
Higher.
Wow.
Or let me stop. I'll leave you alone. I won't put you out in front of everybody, and Brandon too, but Brandon already knows. But when you have a trusted advisor, make sure you listen to your advisor. Right, Eric?
Wow.
Sure.
What'd you say, Brandon?
Wow.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure this out. How am I the punching bag right now?
You're not. We're just trying to help everybody on every end.
But
I agree. We've learned a lot. Brandon always schools us, and he even talks to the boys and gets them involved, which is a blessing to have him. And as I said, these two have midnight calls and talk and strategize on these things. And Brandon definitely educates us quite a bit.
Yeah, I think
quite
we
a bit.
had
The entire family, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, I think we had to switch from, I guess, midnight gaming sessions to midnight conversations.
Right. They used to do that, sit up all night when Brandon would visit, or we visit Brandon and Rashida, they would stay up 2, 3 in the morning playing a video game.
Eric got tired of losing, so he wanted to switch to something else.
He said Eric got tired of losing. And if he doesn't listen to you, but I digress. But thank you, Brandon, again for joining us for this amazing episode on cryptocurrencies. I know we may even have some folks to send in some questions about some of the content that Brandon discussed with us today. And if you do, send your questions to info@sloanblueprint.com, and we'll shoot them over to Brandon and get an answer for you.
Well, and continue to follow at Sloan Blueprint, excuse me, I get to talking so fast, Sloan Blueprint on Instagram, YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you go to youtube.com, type in Sloan Blueprint, you will see our beautiful face come up.
He's talking about me.
And over to the right, you will see a subscribe. Please subscribe. Whenever we post content, then it will automatically come to your email, and then you will know immediately when we have information out there. Follow us on, what are we on?
Instagram,
Twitter,
YouTube,
Facebook, all social
Twitter,
media platforms.
all social media platforms. Join us. Make sure you go to wearethesloans.com. We've got Boss Times 2 merchandise available, as we restate over and over again, y'all. And thank you for the ones that have purchased Boss Times 2 t-shirts and sweatshirts. We really appreciate your support, and for you sharing your photos with us. And when you do, please share your photo with us when you do purchase the merchandise. We would gladly share it. So I think we are at a good point where we're going to wrap it up for today. We thank you again for joining us. Please stay tuned for the rest of the season. I guess do you know what number this is? We can't even keep count. But please stay tuned for more guests and for more phenomenal information and insight. And we just hope that you have a wonderfully blessed week.
Here's the new beginnings. Here's the new beginnings. The pull up so independent. We pull up so independent.